of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. Would somebody like to come up and demonstrate the hands? Jerry's on it. I don't really remember the signals, so Jerry's going to lead you in the hand signals. All right, let's do it and sing it with the hands together. Ready? And gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. One more time together. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour, gathered here in one strong body, gathered here in the struggle and the power. Spirit, draw near. You ready for an experiment? If you're on this side of the room, you're going to start first. If you're here, you're going to come in with me, and you'll be third. All right. Sing, do the hand signals, do neither. You know, these are all options. Oh, Reverend Diana, will you help with them? Oh, amazing. You go with Reverend Diana. Ready? Gathered here in the mystery of the hour. We'll start at the beginning. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour. Ready, third part. Gathered here in the gathered here in one. Let's do it one more time. Gathered. Gathered here in one strong body. Gathered here in the mystery of the hour. Spirit, draw near. Spirit, draw near. Spirit, draw near. Thank you.
Well, good morning. I'm the Reverend Diana Smith, the minister of the Unitarian Universalist Society, and my pronouns are she and her. It's wonderful to be with you all this morning. As people of many ages, genders, races, sexual orientations, classes, abilities, and health statuses, we know how important it is to come together as a radically welcoming spiritual community. Our faith expresses our core value of love through how we agree to be together and to support each other. And so, as we gather, we affirm that wherever any of us is on our life's journey, whether we come to worship with joy in our hearts, weighted with burdens, in need of rest, or searching for people to engage in the struggle with us, we are glad, and this community is glad that we are here. If you're here in person, to help ensure a smooth stream for those watching on YouTube, please either turn off your phone or else silence it and turn off your Wi-Fi. If you need to use an app or device to help you engage with the worship service, we hope you'll do so. As Unitarian Universalists, we're guided by shared principles and sources of our living religious tradition. This morning, we get to experience our worship service in new ways, as we've already begun to, and find out how that feels. We're exploring the vulnerability of change as we mix things up quite literally. You may have noticed that on your order of service, things are not in order. They're not going to be. We'll be doing almost all of the elements of our service in a random order, and different people will be doing them. In a couple of minutes, we'll explain how this will work, but first, our call to worship comes from the Reverend Gretchen Haley, who writes, "There is nothing you need to bring with you to be welcome here. No right beliefs or proof of citizenship, no eternal optimism or clarity of conviction, no boundless courage or endless expertise. You do not need to know what brought you here or how you will solve that problem you are turning over and over in your mind. Your bills do not need to be paid, and your checkbook can be a mess. Your children may have been up half the night. Your hearing aids may not be working, and your knees may be creaking. You do not need to be already perfect or even halfway to belong in this circle where grace meets us where we are, but does not leave us as it found us, where love resides in each of us, yet is somehow more than all, where life still pulses and rages and heals and transforms, creating us and this day anew once again. Come, let us worship together." Marcia?
I'm Marcia Cheney, a worship associate and member of UUS. My pronouns are she and her. As Unitarian Universalists, we light a flame within a chalice as a symbol of sanctuary and safety to unite us in our worship and to remind us of our ongoing search for the light of truth. Please join me in saying our chalice lighting words as Cindy and Satoshi light our chalice. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the wonder and the mystery of this great gift. So let us now kindle the flame of our liberal religious heritage and renew our covenant of mutual love and care. Love is our doctrine, the quest for truth is our sacrament, and service is our prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to serve those in need. This we promise, this we covenant with life and one another. And now to find out what comes next, will someone volunteer to come up here and unwrap one of these packages?
Which one do you want? Can you get it open? Just lift that lid up. All right, can you pull that up? Do you want to talk to the mic and tell people what comes next? Here, come talk to this mic right here. Tell people what comes next.
What comes next is...
Is the mic not on? Oh no! It says it's on. Nice and loud.
Okay, Spirit of Life.
All right. And Wayne, nice job. I need another volunteer to roll this dice real quick. All right, Bradley, roll this saddle. On our paper here, there's a red die showing me that it could be anyone. It is Marcia Cheney leading Spirit of Life.
Hey, you should still do the song.
You can be over here. This will be on the screen, but if you want to look in the gray hymnal, it's hymn number 123. Let's rise in body and spirit as we sing.
Beautiful. And now we need another volunteer to open another package to find out what comes next. Anyone? Oh, Edie? Yay. Okay. Sometimes it takes a little while to pick out the right gift. Okay, our next one to do is our land acknowledgement. And now we need somebody to roll one of the dice.
Roll it up here so Reverend Diana can see who gets rolled.
Okay. Nick. Nick gets to read our land acknowledgement.
I'm a little shorter than Reverend Diana and Marcia, so I need to step up on the stool. My name is Nick. I'm the director of Lifespan Religious Education here. My curly gray and brown hair is braided back today, and I'm so grateful to get to experience this with you today. So our land acknowledgement is next. While the stories that many of us have been taught can tempt us to think that the history of the land we live on began with our families or our not so far away ancestors, we know that in reality, we are guests here. During our weekly land acknowledgement, we reflect on who has cared for this place we love before us, and in doing so, reflect on our responsibilities to other people and to Earth herself. As we acknowledge the people who originally lived on the land and stewarded these lands we now call home, we know that this cannot simply be an empty exercise. Rather, it is something we do to continue our stewardship of this land, to acknowledge the pain of history, and to engage with a crucial part of our spiritual journeys as a loving, justice-making people who celebrate our interdependence and interconnection, knowing that this means understanding the painful past in new ways and making it part of our current lives and shared ministry. I invite you now to move into a posture of acknowledgement and reverence, whether that means holding your hand over your heart, kneeling, taking off your shoes to connect more closely with Earth, or something else. We give thanks for and to this land and all who have cared for it over the centuries, particularly the Kickapoo, the Iowa, the Sauk, and the Meskwaki, and the Sioux Nations. 28 First Nations have ancestral ties to Iowa. These lands were the homes of these nations prior to their forced removal by European American settlers and the federal government. As we give thanks for these lands, we know that forced removal is a term that hides terror and genocide. And we know that these lands were and are loved by the original peoples, by the settlers who came after them, and us today. And we acknowledge that today there are over 14,000 Native Americans living in Iowa, that due to many injustices, desires for these lands, and horrific practices, there are no reservations in Iowa. Most original peoples were killed or driven far from their homes. That the Meskwaki Nation is the only one with a settlement near here, near Tama. We give thanks for the work of all who continue the work of stewarding these lands and waters and who work to share the long history of this area with us.
Thank you, Nick. And now we need another volunteer to let us know what we're doing next. Right. Right. Okay. Oh, this is a hard one to open. Sometimes those ribbons. Oh, what do we have? We have a reading about spring by E.E. Cummings. The reading is Spring is Like a Perhaps Hand, and, oh, okay. I don't know what happened there, but who is Nick? Nick again? Oh, Nick, okay. We did not think about one person getting to do two things in a row, but luckily Nick's got a water bottle.
I'm back. This reading, I think Reverend Diana said it in all of the chaos that was happening. Spring is Like Perhaps a Hand by E.E. Cummings. Spring is like perhaps a hand which comes carefully out of nowhere, arranging a window into which people look, while people stare, arranging and changing, placing carefully there a strange thing and a known thing here, and changing everything carefully. Spring is like perhaps a hand in a window, carefully to and fro, moving new and old things, while people stare carefully, carefully moving a perhaps fraction of a flower here and placing an inch of air there, and without breaking anything.
Thank you, Nick. So what's next? Who's going to open the next package? Is Riley? Or Xander? I don't know. Somebody is. Okay.
Yep, you can open that. What's in there?
Oh, Riley, can you use the mic?
Reading to Risk by William Arthur Ward.
Seem to be having some feedback when that little mic is going, so we might not use it from now on to preserve our ears. And this time, Alex gets to read this one. Hey, this is a joy to risk. Oh, here you go.
Oh no, I was really hoping that I would just get out of all the things today. No luck. So this is a reading to Risk by William Arthur Ward. To laugh is to risk appearing a fool. To weep is to risk appearing sentimental. To reach out to another is to risk involvement. To expose feelings is to risk exposing your true self. To place your ideas and dreams before a crowd is to risk their loss. To love is to risk not being loved in return. To live is to risk dying. To hope is to risk despair. And to try is to risk failure. But risks must be taken because the greatest hazard in life is to risk nothing. The person who risks nothing, does nothing, has nothing, is nothing. They may avoid suffering and sorrow, but they cannot learn feel, change, grow, or live.
Thank you. And so now, let's see if we can get some volunteer from out here. Cindy, would you like to come up and open one of the packages? Yeah, come on up. Okay. All right, we'll find out what we get to do next. I'm hoping for some music, but is that music? No, it's closing words. Okay. All right, not music, closing words. Okay. And who will roll that red die? Okay, Xander. A volunteer. Who would like to come up here and read closing words? Would you like to come up here with maybe one of your adults to help, or do you think you can do it? Okay. You want to? All right. Okay. So this is, can you see it?
Nurturing gratitude and how we understand and express independence is part of how we live into our Unitarian Universalist faith. May what has been shared today help us more fully affirm our interconnection and live into love and justice.
Wonderful. Who wants to open the next box? Okay, Xander. Okay. Okay. Oh, this one's a little hard to get out. Okay.
Can you read it? Read it to me.
It's not on because it was doing that weird noise, but I think it's joys and sorrows and meditation on breathing is what we're going to do. So we need 2 people. We need 2 dice rolls. Okay.
Right on here.
Marcia is going to do the joys and sorrows, and who is going to lead a meditation on breathing? A volunteer. Who's out here is going to lead meditation on breathing? Or over here. Anybody to lead meditation on breathing? Pig, come on up. Over to where Alex is. Yes.
As we enter into our time of meditation, contemplation, and prayer, we acknowledge the joys and sorrows of our congregation. We do this by dropping stones into a bowl of water, symbolically immersing our personal joys and sorrows into the flow of all life's joys and sorrows. The water surrounds and holds the stone just as we are surrounded and held by the love and support of this congregation. As you came in, you may have picked up a stone that you've been holding. If you didn't pick up a stone as you came in, there are stones for you next to the bowl of water. At the end, I will place one last stone in the water for those joys and sorrows that remain in our hearts. If you're participating in our service elsewhere, you may wish to meditatively hold a stone, wash your hands, or meditate on an object near you. And now, if you're in the sanctuary, please come forward and place your stone in the water as we sing meditation on breathing. May we hold the joys and sorrows of our congregation and the wider community tenderly in our hearts and minds today and in the coming days. When we need a listening ear or a heart or helping hand, may we reach out. And when we know of needs, may we offer support with loving kindness. For it is in sharing our lives, our cares and our joys, and in giving and receiving that we know community most fully, that we have the opportunity to live our covenant with one another.
And so now we get to find out where we move next. Do we have another volunteer, maybe someone from out here, to open a package? There's a little struggle going on, apparently. Somebody is trying to be volunteered. No, our volunteers do not have to be children. Any of the adults out here can open a package too. All right, Hillary, come on up. Okay, what do we have?
Reflection.
Oh, okay.
With the black dice.
Yeah, so a reflection. So now we need somebody to roll the dice so we find out which of us is actually sharing our reflection, because it's not necessarily going to be me. Alex, you get to share your reflection that you did not. Did you put it in there? Okay. All right, I'm going to clip this together so we don't get those mixed up. All right.
My intention was for everybody else to do everything today, right? Be open for something wonderful to happen. We sing these words most Sundays to send the youth and the children out to their religious education time. When we do this, we continue a tradition that existed well before I was here, and I suspect it existed well before most of you joined UUS as well. Do any of you remember the first time maybe you sang, what was the Go Now in Peace? Does anybody remember the first time you might have done that? No? Downtown in the old building? It's been going on for a long time. That song and this song, we contain maybe our hopes and a blessing for the children and the youth to be open to listening and learning when they're out of this room doing their activities. But it can also be an invitation within ourself to be open, or vulnerable if you'll allow me, for what is happening within this room and on this stream. Can we be open to listening without immediate scrutiny? To hearing what each other are saying without reacting on the spot? It's hard. I know for myself, because I want to look smart, or seem at least clever. I want to be able to react in that time to what is happening. Something I've prided myself on. But how often does that close off some doors for us? If we allow space for digestion without needing to answer right away, is being open. Be open to the possibility. In the music world, in the choir world specifically, we live in expectations. There are so many pressures on what choir should be, what singing together ought to look and sound like. And I spent a lot of my time in front of choirs living in expectations just like this. I grew up in the Lutheran choir world. If you know that, there's a lot of traditions and expectations that go around in Lutheran churches and in Lutheran choirs. The Lutheran choral tradition in the Midwest specifically demands maybe Bach chorales be sung a cappella, or if you're in a smaller church where the choir can't take that on, the organ will play the parts along. The church calendar dictates what kind of music should be sung in each time of year and what part of the service. My parents, who sing in their Lutheran church choir, proudly show me their Bach chorale books when I ask them what they're working on. Do I love German chorales? I do love German chorales. They are what I grew up on. I ate them along with the roast and potatoes and the maybe overcooked unsalted vegetables for dinner. There are wonderful stories being told. And the words that these chorales have, and in the music and the harmonies that exemplify the text that's being sung. When I look at music in choirs nowadays, I'm not so interested in what's expected. You may have noticed that, especially if you sing in the choir. I'm more interested in what is possible. What story can we tell now, here, in this time and space? What music exemplifies the stories that we should be telling through our singing? These stories and these possibilities are something new, something to be open to. Now, this approach to singing, to choir, to existing, isn't always successful. I think that failure is part of being open. If we try something new, we might fail. Even if something doesn't go off like we hoped, or I hoped, it's still good. It's still good to have done it. Aye is a Yoruba word that we sing at the end of the Be Open. When we sing Aye on Sundays, we mean life. This concept of life expands past, the act of breathing into the interconnectedness of all things, which luckily ties in with one of the principles. So this idea of Aye means existence, the world, the act of existing, the act of being. So, let's be open for something wonderful to happen within ourselves. Be open to the possibility of a new story or thought to be heard, and be open to existing within and among all those around us as we create something new together. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. We also, actually, Marcia, Nick, and I also wrote reflections because we didn't know who was going to be picked. And so we have agreed that we will record our reflections afterwards, and those will be posted on our Facebook and I think our YouTube along with our service. Now, we still have a few elements left of our service. I need somebody else to unwrap a box. Yeah. We have somebody being sort of volunteered, also volunteering. Okay. All right, what do we have? Oh, we have some more music. We have I Know This Rose Will Open. And I need somebody else to roll that dice. Okay. Let's see. Edie, can you throw it? It's a volunteer. We need somebody to volunteer to lead I Know This Rose Will Open. Who would like to do that?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I didn't take over.
Sorry, did we have a volunteer? Oh, Ian volunteered. Oh, great. All right, Ian, come on up. Do you have the music? You've got it. Okay, great.
Why don't we all rise together in body and spirit as we sing? It's number 396.
Wonderful. Thank you. Beautiful. Okay, I think we have 3 things left now. All right, so if you have been waiting to volunteer, your time is running out. I need one of you up here to open a package. Someone? Anyone? All right, Mary Catherine. Okay. Okay, what do we have? Oh, we have our candle for justice and healing. All right. And I need somebody to roll this dice. Okay. Oh, I can't see. Who was it? Oh, okay. Oh, it's a volunteer again. All right. Okay, who would like to read our Candle for Justice and Healing words? Okay, John, come on up.
When we light our candle for justice and healing, we know that our liberation is bound up with every other person's liberation. We light this candle that we may not be numbed or lost to injustice and trauma, but rather find strength, courage, and love together to continue engaging with the struggles for liberation, justice, and healing. We light this candle to help remind ourselves that together we are creating resilience and hope. Today, as we light this candle, we're particularly mindful of the plight of immigrant farm workers in this country. They perform a very difficult job that is vital to our lives. And yet they face millions of dollars in stolen wages, a lack of appropriate medical care, substandard and often unsafe housing, and unsafe working conditions. As I light this candle, let us hold a time of silence to listen to our hearts and bodies, or perhaps to lift up prayers.
We have two last boxes, two last elements of our service. Who would like to unwrap one of the last two boxes? Okay, come on up. Okay, yeah. All right, let's see what we've got. Okay. I think we have a reading. Yes, Contact by Gordon B. Kinman from Becoming. And we need somebody to roll this dice. I think Xander's going to. Okay, he's going to. Somebody's going to. All right. Alex gets to again. I did not rig these dice. I usually do a lot more in this service. This is really interesting. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Hi again. This is a reading called Contact by Gordon B. Kinman from Becoming. I stretch forth my hand, knowing not what I shall touch. A tender spot, an opened wound, warmth, pulsing life, fragile blossoms, a rock, ice. I am tentative, trembling, wishing to avoid hurt, wanting to link my life with life. Lonely, I desire companions. Naked, I long for defenders. Lost, I want to find, to be found. Will I touch strangers or enemies or nothing? My hand is withdrawn, but still it touches. My vulnerable skin, my furrowed brow, my empty pocket, my full heart. Do others reach, tremble, withdraw? Do they desire, long, seek? Are they lonely, fearful, lost? Will they grasp a tentative, trembling hand? I stretch forth my hand, knowing not what I shall touch, but hoping.
Okay, we have one final box. If you've been waiting, this is your chance. You don't have to be a child. You can be an adult. Who's going to open our last box? Okay, John's. The offering and the offertory. So, we're going to roll this dice twice. Who's going to roll this? I think Xander had already promised, had been, and then one of you can come up, or both of you could come up and roll it for the last one. Volunteer. Okay, so we need a volunteer to read, and we also need one of you or both of you to come up and roll the die. You want to come up and roll the dice? Also, I need a volunteer to read the offertory word, the offering words. Okay. Okay, I need 2 volunteers. I need one volunteer to read the offering words and another volunteer to conduct the choir. Oh, yes. All right. So who's coming on up? Come on. Come on. Somebody's got to wave their arms, and somebody's going to come up here and talk. Oh, you're going to read. Joe's going to read. Okay, Joe's going to read. Who's waving their arms, conducting the choir? Edie's conducting the choir? Okay, we got this.
How we give, what we do with our lives, our time, and our resources is a reflection of our values. In response to the abundance we are blessed with, every week this congregation donates generously to organizations in the community whose work aligns with our values and principles. Our community partner agency this month is the Free Medical Clinic. The Free Medical Clinic operates from a belief that access to affordable health care is a basic human necessity. They provide medical and dental services to Iowa City and the surrounding communities for folks who do not have access to care. In the sanctuary, ushers will collect the offering. All cash contributions go directly to our community partner agency. In addition to assisting our community partner, you may contribute towards your pledge to our society or contribute to the congregation to provide additional support for our operating expenses. You may also contribute by check, using the memo line to designate the purpose, or you may give electronically by following the link shown on the screen or through Realm. The offering is a sign of commitment to this free congregation, which is almost completely supported by the generosity of all who join with us. As we give and receive the offering, may we be transformed by our giving, and may the world be transformed by our gifts.
Now that is a choir conductor. I think she should come back anytime. Yeah, that's fabulous. Well, how is that for the vulnerability of change? We hope that changing things up has helped you experience some things in a new way. And now, Marcia, will you lead us to the end of our service?
And could you read this part too?
This
No, not just this right here, immediately after the service.
All right. Immediately after the service, we'll have a time for all to join in conversation and community. If you're online, a link to our Zoom coffee rooms is available in the description below the video in YouTube. If you're in person, we gather in the fellowship hall and outside for conversation. Our discussion question, which you may want to chat about during coffee hour, is what was this experience like for you? How did it help you experience vulnerability in a new way? There are designated tables in the fellowship hall if you'd like to join a discussion specifically about this. And if you'd like to know more about the resources used in today's service, you can find a bibliography at the end of our email order of service or using the QR code on your print order of service. And now please join me in the words for extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. All these we carry in our hearts and in our minds until we are together again.
And now, as you go forth into this day and this week, may you go noticing the spaces of change that exist around you in this season of change, both in the natural world and in our lives. Go in peace, love, and justice, living love ever more fully and fiercely into this world. Amen. And blessed be.
Go forth and do good things. Build a world of your imagining. Spread love everywhere you go. Be kind to everyone you know. Go forth, go forth, go forth and do good things. Let's do it one more time. Go forth and do good things. Build a world of your imagining. Spread love everywhere you go. Be kind to everyone you know. Go forth, go forth, go forth and do good things. Thank you. the dearest